Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Hi everybody, every nobody, somebody. This is Nate. This is my little flight simulation improvement stream, self-improvement through flight simulation stream. And we did good this week. So we're going to enjoy a little flight from Albuquerque to Las Vegas, because I promised RAAS Lady that I was taking her to Vegas, and we didn't last stream. So enjoy some King Gizzard and a Lizard Wizard, and we'll get started in about 5-10 minutes. Good morning. This is Nate. Thank you for tuning in if you are so inclined. This is Nate Flies. A little Twitch YouTube stream where I try to get better at Flight Simulator. Kind of started getting back into Flight Simulator during the pandemic when I was really missing traveling and was impressed how far Flight Sim came. So I started learning how to fly jetliners. In the words of Stu there. We're winging it a little bit. And we gotta keep it all up in the air. All these things. The stream is about self-improvement through flight simulation. Alright, thank you, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. It was a little sad pilot by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Highly recommended band and song. So, thanks for joining me today. We are in XP12. I am in the Flight Factor Boeing 757, and today we are going to call this our graduation stream from FedEx Dropout University, or Last Chance University. So earlier in the week, I jumped back into this aircraft after not using it for a while. Put some really, really bad landings on tape. So I had to, get sent down to the Cactus League. And so I came out west. We flew around, and we've landed a lot better lately. So to congratulate ourselves, I told RAAS Lady, who is the voice of your safety system in these aircraft, that I'll take her to Vegas. So that's what we're doing today. But yeah, in any case, thanks for tuning in. For anyone who hasn't watched the stream, which is basically anyone listening to this, hello, my name is Nate. I am just some guy. And as I said, I always had an interest in aviation, and during the pandemic, I love to travel. And during the pandemic, I started getting stir crazy, and Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, and I got that, and I had a lot of fun with it during the pandemic, and I couldn't believe how far flight simulators had come since I got that. And so I, once I got sick of flying around the, doing barrel rolls under the Eiffel Tower and various man-made structures around the world, and running Death Star runs through the Grand Canyon. I always loved airliners. I kind of was interested. I used to do plane spotting. I do it now. And so, yeah, I started just like anyone else. I was like, well, how do you fly one of these things? And so I went on YouTube, and just like anyone else, you can learn to do anything on YouTube. And so I ended up finding some really cool streams and instructional videos. And chief among them was Black Box 711, who is a real world pilot who has an excellent live stream and tutorials on YouTube. And I started watching, and little by little kind of learned how to fly one of these. Ended up meeting a really cool community of flight simmers, and this is just my little way to try and improve. So the reason this is I joke, even though it's kind of true, self-improvement through flight simulation. If you can imagine it, these aircraft are extremely complicated, and once you start flying them in the sim, there's only so much you as a complete amateur, nothing, just some guy. It's even hard to know like what you're doing wrong when you're trying to do things right. And so I started, thanks to another stream that I really love, Marshall Sutcliffe. Shout out Marshall, Magic the Gathering guy. and watchmaker guy. He's a really good guy too. Check out Wristwatch Revival also. Anyway, he started making like doing wristwatch repair, and he was always talking about how recording himself helped him see stuff, and I was like, hey, you know what, that's where I can try and see what I'm doing wrong. So I downloaded OBS. I started recording the flights, and I'd watch back my landings and other phases of flight where I wasn't sure. My big thing in flight sim is trying to figure out whether it's a me problem or a sim problem. And so we'll talk about that a little bit today too with this aircraft, because I've noticed some things over the last week or so and in my experience with the flight factor that I think are becoming more sim problems, add-on problems than me problems, though there's plenty of me problems. And in any case, so I've started to notice some things, but that's just the whole idea with this stream, is to try and just get better at flying these aircraft. And that way also when I go on VATSIM, I cannot be a total pain in the ass, which is an online global network. So without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit here, and I go through. The idea here is I try and use as kind of close to real world procedures as I can. Today will be a little less strict, mainly because we're going to fly into Vegas. I kind of want to do a loop around Vegas and do kind of a non-standard landing for one of these big airliners. But as you can see, these are big, complicated things, and buttons do stuff. And if you press them at the right time, things go well. If you press them at the wrong times, well, you know, things don't go so well. So I am going to, this plane is totally off. It's cold and dark, as they say. One of the greatest little expressions. A cold and dark state. And I will be going through and setting this bad boy up, and we will fly to Las Vegas. So thank you for joining me. And what I do is essentially talk through my process here, so that when I do look at parts back later, I can kind of hear also what I'm doing wrong. And also streaming this, I love to talk to people, so if you're in here and want to say hi, talk about flight sim or traveling, say hi. And otherwise, doing the stream forces me to kind of talk out loud through what I'm doing, and that helps me catch some of my errors, and also kind of pushes the limits of my knowledge, because you can only explain, if you can't explain it, then you don't know it. Teaching, besides failure, teaching something is the best way to learn something. And so with that said, by no means am I teaching anything here. Do not do anything I say or do. But trying to kind of explain to myself what I'm doing is very helpful. So let's start a Boeing 757. How about that? Take a big huff of oxygen first. We do like to have fun in this stream. But first things first, let's get this aircraft somewhat started up. Usually these are on, but to start up, as anything, turn on the battery. Go my standby power to auto. And we have ground power available, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that ground power on. And these bus ties kind of, as you can see, connect everything up. Stream has officially started. And yeah, I'm using this as kind of like a victory lap stream. So we're gonna relax. We're gonna listen to one of my favorite King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard concerts live in Albuquerque on the way there. And that's where we are, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I love the desert, and so I love flying over the desert. And so here, two of my favorite things: a Boeing 757, Canyonlands, the desert. We got baseball coming up this afternoon, the other thing. So we're having a good time today. Okay. So we got some stuff going here. I did hook up a air conditioning unit for us, since it will be hot in Vegas. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn these utility buses on too, because I think that will kick on all the fans actually. Don't know if that matters if we have the thing. So I'll do the emergency lights. I'll throw a light on. What limited window heats we have. Alright, cool. We are cooling down. Everyone can smoke them if you got them for now. I'm gonna set the pressurization panel. We'll look up Las Vegas, and we have a flight plan and charts to review, so we'll be looking at that shortly. Turn a logo light on so everyone can see how fancy we are. Alright, looking good up here. So, forgot one thing. Let's start aligning the IRS, because this takes about 5 or 10 minutes usually. It'll give us a little countdown timer in a second. But what I can also do is show you if you're geographically, if you need some geographical awareness. Where's Albuquerque, New Mexico? Well, here's the United States. Here's New Mexico. Here's Albuquerque, which by all accounts is a very cool town. I have not been to Albuquerque per se. I've been out to this part of the world, just not Albuquerque, but I'd love to travel and spend some time in Albuquerque, of all places, I know. But it's supposedly a really cool town. And I actually have some friends who lived out there for a bit. But we're flying from Albuquerque to Las Vegas, so we get to fly over some of my favorite country in the world. Four Corners region of the United States, Navajo Reservation. We may even, I'll have to see how this route, we may even fly over Mittens. We'll probably fly over Arches. But anyway, this is just beautiful canyon country out here. And so we're treating ourselves to a flight out to Las Vegas. And then once we get to Vegas, we're going straight to the hotel bar and watching the baseball game. So, we like to have fun on this stream, but we're trying to do, if you're going to do something right, you're going to do something, do it right. And so I've got a full-on flight plan here for us. And so we do the whole works here. So before I totally get started, I'm going to kind of look around the cabin just to make sure I've got everything set up how I want it. I need to reset my EFIS panel, this map here. And the other thing I really like about the flight sim hobby is I have a really cool kind of in real life, as it were, over here, a pretty neat flight sim setup with the throttles and the yoke, and I've got these panels, and yeah, if you like playing with toys, then this is a good hobby for you. So yeah, so if you don't see me clicking stuff in the actual sim, it's because I'm doing it in the real world, as it were, in front of my computer. But I want to set the computer to both sides, go over to our co-pilot side here. And I usually like the co-pilot to be about, give us a bigger view. This needs to be Barrow, this needs to be Barrow. We'll do, when the time comes, terrain over on this side. Okay, go auto for our VORs, but later we will be doing a VOR landing, so that should be, ooh, it's exciting, the things that are exciting in flight simulation. Alright, cool, let's get rid of these armrests, and now we are ready to start some setup. So I'm going to go ahead and program the flight computer with our path, our flight path. So here is our FMC. And yeah, I've got the wind control FMC out in the world here, so I might be clicking that. It's like I said, you got toys, you got to use them. Okay, here is our flight plan, and so let's start setting up the computer. So I'm going to the FMC here. We can confirm that we are in a 757, and we've got our lovely Rolls-Royce engines, which in this aircraft you can choose between the Pratt Whitneys and the Rolls-Royce, and I feel like the Rolls-Royce kind of feel a little better. I think, in terms of this sim. All right, we got a good database, everything looking good. So let's go to position in it. And the reference airport, we are in Albuquerque, so Kilo Alpha, is it Quebec? No, Bravo, Quebec. Got it. And we can take our current GPS position and set that as our IRS. I was doing some reading lately, so we'll talk about that a little more on cruise maybe, but some of the little weird issues I've been seeing in the Flight Factor 757 are it looks like some things that are just kind of a little buggy, and it's good to know that, just because as someone who's trying to get a little better in these aircraft, it's good to know when it's screwing up and when I'm screwing up. So we are going to Las Vegas, Kilo Lima Alpha Sierra, and we are FedEx 4622. Foxtrot Delta X-ray flight number. Alright, let's go to our departures and arrivals. We are departing today. Here is our routing. We're departing runway 8, and we'll be looking at a bunch of charts in a moment. The other fun part about Flight Simulator, you get to look at charts and you have to do math, and man, it's the whole thing. And we're taking the Roadrunner 3 standard instrument departure and going to transition Golf Uniform Papa to the VOR, and we will press route, activate, and we will execute that. And we actually, I don't think we have to put in any other waypoints actually, because the next one, as we see here, is simply the transition, I'm pretty sure, into Vegas. But I can show you too. You can see our routing here in Navigraph charts. So we get to take a nice loop around Albuquerque and fly our way up to Gup, and then it is just direct straight over. So this is our routing, and we will be doing this kind of neat little VOR. So once we get to Preno, we get to do our victory lap around Las Vegas. We'll fly over the Vegas VOR and come outbound and do this VOR landing, which should be pretty fun. So let's get rid of that. So back to our departures and arrivals. We'll go to the index page, KLAS arrivals. So let's find the Rockstar or the Road. Okay, Rockstar for the transition. And like I said, we'll be doing. I'm actually a little curious. What this thing actually has in it for the VOR 26 left. And we do want the loss transition, kinda. Let's put that in and see what happens. Execute. So sometimes with the maps, it's not going to always put it in just right. So let's go to the legs page though. Get rid of Avi tab real quick. And let's just see let's go to our plan mode here and see if we have something approaching a legitimate looking flight plan. But we don't have the IRS isn't aligned yet either. So it's got a little weirdness. So we got 1 minute till the IRS is aligned. I was just talking with someone about how to. So one thing I noticed in a couple of the takeoffs, that like our position wasn't quite right on the runway, and I wasn't sure if that was something I did wrong in the FMC, but it sounds like people were saying online that you kind of have to kludge it to get the IRS correctly by like pressing the thrust button or this toga hidden button here. So we won't worry about that for the exact moment right now. But let's look through this flight plan and see if it seems like we have a. Let's step through the flight plan, I should say, and see if we have something legitimate. So this big weird thing will go away in a moment. All right, so we got the Roadrunner, Speedy, Baby, Bustle to Gup, and then Gup is just direct to haha. So down in our computer here, we'll go ahead and close up that discontinuity. Pull that up there. Execute. Nice. Queen. Sticks. Okay, so we're rocking in the free world. That's why this is the Rockstar Arrival. So we got Tom Petty, Rockstar, Huxley, Kalen. And so by Prino, that should be, as I know because I've flown in this should just be like vectors to something. So it should have a discontinuity there. And then last, there's this hold at Irish. So we'll go into that hold and do this kind of VOR landing. That should be pretty fun. We got a missed approach too. So, all right, this is looking pretty good. And here we can see our IRS kind of aligned more correctly. But as you can see, this is what I was talking about. It's still not quite right. So we're gonna mess with it a little bit as we get on the runway to see how we can reset it so that, you know, it's actually going to the correct waypoint here. Because right now that is incorrect. And pretty sure not our fault. So like I said, but let's go back down into the flight computer. That looked good for now that we're going to play with. But let's go to our init ref. Now that the plane is loaded, we can pull the ground weight. I already loaded the plane, so we can pull the ground weight right from here. Our reserves today are, I gave us a little bit of extra fuel, 8.8, so we can fly around and not bark at us. To that end, since I know we have some extra fuel, so it doesn't bark at us, I'm going to say we just have 8,000 pounds instead of the 8.8. And our cruise today, we're getting up there, 360. Cost index, 10. Expensive gasoline. And the average winds, 224 at 11. Nice. So not too windy today. That'll be nice too. No challenging landing now. Every landing is a challenge on this stream. Okay, let's go to the takeoff page, and we will use our sim brief calculator here to help us get off the ground. And this is another thing I've noticed too, like the D rates are acting kind of funky. I don't really know how much I really want to mess with it today so that I don't pause. But here, this is just a regular D-rated takeoff. So today we're going to be doing a flaps 5 takeoff. Our select temp is 31. Yep. CG will pull from the aircraft, and V1 speeds today. So we're heavy, 159er. The V1, the speed, you gotta decide whether to hit the brakes or commit to your takeoff. Otherwise, you won't have enough runway to stop. 162 is our rotate speed, and 163 is V2, the slowest you can climb on, or the minimum speed you can climb with one engine out. Okay, cool. That's most of our pre-flight. Let me set up our, I'll go legs over here. We'll keep our takeoff stuff here. And we will do a pre-flight checklist now. You guys like the sights and sounds of flight simulation? Here's some test warnings for you. All looking good. Cool. All right, get our tablet out. Checklist. So oxygen is set. The pressurization is on auto, but that does remind me to, and since we will be looking at the charts, what is the Vegas landing? Is it 2,000 feet? Sort of right on the 2,180. So let's set our landing altitude to 2,100. Okay, parking brake is set. Gear pins are removed. All right, cool. So before start, checklist will be next. So let's review some charts, fun stuff. So the weather today is really nice in Albuquerque, and so we've got a little bit of wind coming kind of from out of the east. We can see we got some clouds up at 9,000. It's 24 degrees, and the QNH today is 3028. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. 028. And on this aircraft, you can kind of cheat. Click this little screw there. It sets it over here, and we'll set it on our backup. 3028. All right, got it. Here is the airport, so we can do a quick briefing. We will be pushing back, facing to the north, and we'll take. We'll just take Foxtrot. We'll go down at the end, Foxtrot to Foxtrot, or Foxtrot 4 to Foxtrot. And we're taking off runway 8, as I recall. And so we will just, can I get to 8 here? Yeah, so we'll just take a hard left on Golf and Echo 1, and that will be full length. Make sure we don't get on runway 12, so we'll have RAAS Lady talk to us. And that's, we owe her the trip to Vegas because we flew so nicely this week. I like all the sights and sounds of flight simulation. RAAS Lady is one of my favorite. So she's our warning system. She sounds like the self-destruct sequence in Alien, and it makes me happy. So, all right, cool. And so, like I said, we will be having a little bit of wind to it coming from our right on that. But as far as our actual takeoff goes, we will just be taking off, and we can read the chart here. So from runway 8, here we go. Climb heading 079er, so I can go up here and set our heading. And I love the analog gauges in these, the 757. So the 757 in real life, you know, I am an aviation nerd. I love, you know, air and space museums all day. You know, I love that stuff. And so, let's see. And so, yeah, the Boeing 757 is, in my opinion, from a kind of neat era in flight aviation history. Still kind of a rough blend of old and new. I can even do the older cockpit in here, but since I am terrible at this, then we need to we need as much help as we can get for now. So this is an RNAV departure, isn't it? Yeah. So we need to know for runway 230 is going to be, we can't go too fast because we have mountains ahead. And we want to be up to at least above 12,000. And so let's, the top altitude is flight level 20. So just for our sake, so we can enjoy some views, we'll just go up to 10,000. So I'm going to keep our altitude where it is. And, all right, cool. So for the briefing, we'll just be taking off. We'll hand fly this bad boy, and somewhere along this turn, we'll kick in autopilot so that we can take a look at around Albuquerque. We're not trying to work too hard. So let's go ahead and turn our flight directors on. This is a LNAV VNAV takeoff, and that is looking good. Okay, let's get some other stuff going. So we can get the aircraft more powered up. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the APU, the auxiliary power unit. I'll put another light on to warn more people. And the APU is on the back of the aircraft here. And on this stream, we take great pleasure in looking up backsides of airplanes. Whenever I go to air and space museums, these are the best shots. Take like that straight on, straight back shots. All right, everyone, warm up. Yeah, the APU auxiliary power unit is a little turbine engine in here that you use to see. Right now we're on ground power here, and we've got an air conditioning unit to keep our packages cool. And once we get off ground power, this will supply pressurized air to kind of help spool up the engines and also supply some electricity. Okay, cool. The APU is started. So let's go ahead and review our panel. Overhead panel again quickly. Everything is looking great. So let's go ahead and flip. APU is ready, and we can confirm here. Let's look at our levels. Everything looking good. So APU is going to come on. I already have the utility buses on. I can go ahead and set these to auto for now. And you kind of go through this way, and I just do it very deliberately so that I don't miss anything. All right, turn the packs to, well, what I should do is, okay, isolation valve, APU bleed on, and let's get rid of the, on the ground, we can get rid of the, on the ground, we can, excuse me, on the airplane, we can close all the doors since everyone's in. On the ground, we can get rid of the loader unit, that air conditioner, the fuel truck, the stairs, and the luggage loader. Do not, in this aircraft, remove the GPU before you turn it off yourself. Otherwise, the plane will essentially crash. Alright, so APU is all good here. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the external power. Get our hydraulics on. Extinguish. Yaw dampers can come on. We are going to turn on our Rolls-Royce. So the Rolls-Royce engines have a little extra, some extra features you need to turn on, like these limiters. Alright, I will, so we're a little imbalanced, not bad. But I can go ahead and get the fuel pumps on now because we're going to be, we're about ready to rock here. Okay. While there's startup, we'll tell everyone to strap in. Alright, great. Things are looking great. I'll go down here. If we were on VATSIM, I would set my radios. But this is, we're going to be rocking out to some King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard today. Nevertheless, we will be squawking. I'll start reporting here. Okay. So I will be right back in 2 minutes, and we'll get started. Apologies. Real life came at me. Real life comes at you fast. No. So, and then we'll figure, once we get on the runway, I'm pretty sure this thing will fix itself. I know you never want to see like, whoa, the runway. Yeah, it'll fix itself. But anyway, such is our life here in the world of flight simulation. You get some buggy stuff. So I'm going to get our engine page. I'm going to do a recall check. This is all expected stuff for me to see. So I'm going to go ahead and now operations ground. Let's get rid of the parking brake was set. I saw that. Go to the chocks. We are definitely on APU power. Nice. And so let's get rid of the GPU, and the loader unit never left. Okay, there we go. Cool. Let's do a checklist. All right, before start, fuel is checked. A little bit is over there. We could transfer if we wanted to. Well, we could. So checked. Passenger signs are set. Windows are locked. The MCP is set. We've got our V2 speed. We got our heading. We got our initial altitude. LNAV, VNAV. Flight directors are on. Looking good. Takeoff thrust. So we are takeoff. And takeoff speeds are checked and set here. They're high today because we're kind of heavy, which is nice. It'll feel a little heavier. takeoff speed. So CDU pre-flight is complete. Rudder and aileron trim is set. Taxi takeoff briefing we did. Flight deck door is locked and closed, and the light is on. So we are ready for pushback. Excelente. Look at this. I love the Boeing 757. So let's call for pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
All right, we've had bad luck with better pushback lately, so let's see what happens here. All right, just get me right back here.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
All right, big breath. Big Rolls-Royce engine. So here comes our tow.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Enjoy some coffee too. Lifts the whole plane up. Look at that.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right. All right, so I think we're ready. Let's go up top here. I'm gonna turn our packs off so we have sufficient air to start up these engines. So we'll start up engine 2. Parking brake. So these are
Starting
3-stage
pushback,
turbine
and
engines.
we may start engines.
So that pressurized air is helping one of the compressors start spinning. So, you know, you got oxygen plus about 20%. You add fuel and a spark, well, you get ignition, exhaust gas temperatures rise. Alright, better pushback also looks to be cooperating today. That's very nice. So we can monitor the engines are all looking good here. Alright, cool. Temperature. We'll have to check our oil temperature before we take off. It'll be high enough. I think it just has to be over 30 by the time we are taking off. So let's go ahead and start up engine 1. Same deal. Coming alive.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Set the parking brake for.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, adding fuels. You see exhaust gas temperature rise, and N1 is one of the other compressors, so it starts spinning everybody up.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
Alright, I will have fun up there. This is not only a stream about self-improvement, it's about having fun. And so that's why we will be enjoying some music today. We're heading into the weekend. This is I think the last day of my debauched week off here. Those coordinates. Alright, cool. So we are started up. We got our parking brake set. Let's do our after start flows. So what you do now is switch over to the engines. Let them power us. Get some lights on. Like I said, I like going through this. Packs back on to auto. Isolation valve can come off. APU can come off. And now let's actually turn the APU off. We will set the parking brake, the auto brake to RTO. I always call it the parking brake. That's the parking brake. That's the auto brake. Our pitch trim today, I think, was 4. So let's wrong button. Let's pitch our nose down. All right, that's 4. And this is a flaps 5 takeoff. So I will set our flaps 5. Alright, and like I said, once we get on the runway, we'll see if this thing kind of fixes itself. We'll sit there for a sec to let it reset, because otherwise our flight path is a little janky. Or a lot janky, actually. So, alright, I think that felt like all the stuff. We can just do it now, actually. Also, let's get our terrain radar going over on this side. I'm not going to mess with the weather radar just because it doesn't... Something's up with X-Plane right now, and we shouldn't have much weather anyway. So, weather... Test terrain. Alright, cool. It will be picking up terrain on our co-pilot side here. Alright, awesome. Alright, let's do a flight control check to make sure I have all my stuff plugged in here. So, pull back, pull forward, neutral, pull left, nice, pull right, okay, rudders, pull left, pull right, neutral. And one thing I did play with my brake settings, so we do have, I noticed the other day they were extremely sensitive, and I hadn't adjusted them for this aircraft. Alright, cool. That felt like a thing. Big breath of oxygen before we get moving. Let's do another checklist. Alright, anti-ice, we shouldn't need. Isolation switches off. Recall is checked. Auto brake is RTO. Ground equipment is clear. And we have the appropriate lights on. So next will be our before takeoff checklist. Let's start our taxi. So we'll just take a right here on Foxtrot 4, and we'll take Foxtrot Golf and start our crossing. Alright, cool. Release the parking brake. Add a little thrust. And so, for example, this is one thing. Again, you know, one thing about flight simulation, we're a lot of complainers in the flight sim world. And look, on the one hand, for a good reason. So I'm not hating on the haters. I think you all, these are valid points. But it's sort of, so I'm just saying it just because it's helpful to know what is sort of, like I said, one of the things when you get into start doing flight sim is how do you figure out if something is a you problem or a sim problem? You don't. Is the answer to that question. You know, it's like going to here's another boring hobby. If you play golf, you can go to the driving range all day and whatever. If you do something right, if you do something wrong, you don't know what you're doing. You need to have some sense of what's going on. So That's and in a lot of ways why I started doing this stream is just so that I could get a better sense of what I was doing right and wrong. And but you have the added layer here of that the add-ons will sometimes have some little funky things. So one thing, it's like I noticed this thing felt very hard to, or just felt kind of sticky and extra heavy on the ground, and it seemed like I had to give it a lot of thrust just to get going. And so, you know, I'm like at pretty, you know, high N1 value here. And I don't know, so it's like you really gotta give this thing a lot of thrust on the ground to get going. Alright, but we are moving. Like I said, I'm not worrying about weather today, so we'll just keep that off. On my side, I do want route data. I think as we get closer to the runway, we'll see this. Let's just watch our nav display. See if this thing starts fixing itself. I can see it must be because things are changing. Although we are just getting closer to that waypoint, so. Okay, so here's Foxtrot, there's Charlie. We want golf. Okay, golf. So airport signage, golf. That way we're on Foxtrot. Charlie's that way. You know, you gotta watch out here. But that's why we have RAAS Lady. I almost want to mess up so that we can hear RAAS Lady. Maybe if I make a real big turn here, we'll get to hear her say hi to us this morning. Approaching. Do you think RAAS Lady? Close? Ooh, alright. She decided not to say hi to us. Approaching runway 12. I'm crushed. She's giving us the silent treatment. This is kind of what I'm talking about. I'm like 40% N1. Just this slight uphill. So this feels like a lot of thrust for 17 knots or less. Is what I'm saying here, chat. But at least something to know. Probably a sim problem, not a me problem. Because I did notice, like, my wheels are always in the ground. This bad boy. So you see we got this hot spot here, but we're just gonna go, we're taking this Echo 1 to the right and just make sure we don't get on runway 12 right here. Okay, so I want to pull up on the runway to see if the nav fixes itself. So let me go ahead and turn some lights on. My most hated switches right there. Arm the auto throttle.
Approaching 12.
Good morning. Yeah, see, this is where you can get yourself into trouble. Took her a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Where do you think Bugs Bunny got it from? Alright, let's line up and wait.
On runway 8.
Yeah, we gotta take her to Vegas. We said we were, so I'm gonna do that. Alright, I'm gonna hit the brakes. Pull the parking brake, and now let's take a little gander here. so on the actual chart, all right, this is actually looking fairly legit now. 5-8, climb 2. All right. So I think this seems like it actually drew itself correctly. So that's good. We're already at the 532. So we need to get that's something like we could do if we wanted to, is like set the barrow minimums as a little reminder when we do that. Since we can scroll quickly.
On runway 8. On runway 8.
You can serenade me with your song, RAAS Lady. So basically we have to get 500 feet, is what it's telling us. 8 to 820. God, it jumps. Goes straight to 50. All right. Oh my God, it reset. All right, well, we're not doing that now. All right, let's do before takeoff checklist. All right, so we know what we're doing. Everything got drawn in correctly. Our packs are auto, and I think when I hit perform here, I've been hearing a click of some kind. All right, not this time. So packs on are auto, flaps are set, stabilizer trim we set, flight controls are checked, the cabin is secured, and the taxi turn off, light switches are off. All right, we are ready to rock. Take off. Release the parking brake. Thrust. At about 1 point, a little high EPR. And I'm going to try something. People were saying, even though the switch is right there, do Toga. People are saying that seems to help the aircraft. All right. Let's concentrate. All right, 80 knots. I can see N1 very high. We're over stressing. Okay, there's V1, rotate. Alright, nice. Positive rate of climb, gear up. Let's pitch the nose up a bit. Alright, LNAV. Alright, EPR, VNAV speed. We will get going. Alright, acceleration coming up, so let's pitch our nose down. And I'm exhausted. Autopilot. Oh yeah. Alright, so as you see here, something going on. We're passing our flash 5 speed. We go flaps 1. Reset the heading. Oh yeah. Probably good for flaps up. Alright, alt capture coming up to 10,000. And you can see, you know, this is a, while we were enjoying the sights and sound, we went extremely off course. Not our fault. Let's just go to direct Roadrunner. Execute. Let this thing relax. So, that is the stuff I'm talking about. That, that wasn't a me problem. That was a sim problem. And I'd like to welcome our friend, Santa Owns, to the chat. What's up, buddy? Good morning. There was just an expert takeoff. I was too busy sightseeing. Let's keep sightseeing. Oh, yeah. Shouldn't have golf courses out here. Too much water. Oh, no worries, dude. No worries at all. I mean, I feel bad for you who have missed the professional excellence. But so, since we reached our altitude, it dumped us out of VNAV. We can keep going the rest of the way here. 360. Let's just get up there. Oh, man. Alright. Santa, two things. You won the gold star today because you're a good co-pilot. See, this is why I needed you. You could better turn that alert. Make sure that alert is on, man. Yeah, I did not set the chrono. Like an idiot. Oh, you know what? I should probably do a return here, straight to maintenance. So what did we say it was? 360. Yeah, I'll remember the clock someday. But now we can press our favorite button when we're cruising here. All right. Are you number one? Number one, engage. VNAV. Here we go. EPR VNAV speed. Go, 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 go. I did notice our engines were, we got into the yellow. %101% N1. Okay. So above 10,000 feet. Get some lights off. We can do our after takeoff checklists in a moment. Alright. Smoke them if you got them. Seatbelts off. Big breath of oxygen. I'm not gonna, by the way, Santa, I'm not gonna put on the mask of shame for not doing the chrono. That's not enough. I have to mess up worse than that for the gas mask of shame. Alright, checklist. After takeoff, packs are set, landing gear are up, flaps are up, right? Yep. Altimeters will be set in 6,000 feet from now, so we'll call that good. Done. Alright, we are climbing. Ah, desert. New Mexico. And so Santa, I'm flying over. I don't know if you remember yesterday, I was thinking about going to Las Vegas, and I promised RAAS Lady that we would go to Las Vegas, and we just came back home to Ontario, California, back to the FedEx base, and I left her. And so she was mad, and now I have to take her to Vegas. We're celebrating today. We're gonna call this week a big self-improvement. We've earned some kind of stripe with our piloting skills. We're gonna say we had some stable landings, and now we're gonna just have a good time. We're gonna go fly over Vegas, take a look at the strip, might change it to sunset because it's so pretty. Engine sounds down a little bit, blow everyone's ears out. Alright, we are on Mars, the red planet. That's probably a uranium quarry. So yeah, the other thing I like about flight simulation is I'm a big fan of maps and Earth. I can't repeat that on stream, I'm sorry. It's against TOS. Alright, we're passing 18,000, so set standard. Standard. And standard 299er2 here. But yeah, I've been having this thing the last couple of days. Baby, this thing is like pumping. And again, this is I don't think a me thing. Maybe if I... But you know, we're stressing. I'm gonna have to, you know. So I've been doing some Googling. One thing I was also saying, Santa, is we don't need our logo light on anymore. Maybe that's it. The logo light was drawing too much power. Yeah, there's some stuff on here that I've been doing some reading, some deep research on the internet about this aircraft, namely the add-on in X-Plane, and there are some things that I've been noticing that, you know, I think are my own screw-ups, but it turns out might be a little bugginess in the plane itself. So, you know, we've been crushing it, basically, is what I'm saying, because we've been perfect flying the last couple of days by our standards, and even in an aircraft that doesn't necessarily cooperate with us. So the one thing people were complaining about, and including real life pilots, and again, I don't like to dump on like the add-ons itself, but I think it's helpful to know what is wrong or what could be buggy in the add-on, because since we have no idea what we're doing, everything is just our fault. And to figure out, you know, it's nice to know that something isn't your fault, isn't it? Just in life in general, when it's like something bad happens and you're like, oh, what did I do? But it's like, oh no, you bailed out. It was someone else's fault. So there's some stuff that's someone else's fault here. And so if I can blame things on someone else, then okay. So the one thing was, you know, we come in so hot and fast, you especially, in this thing, come in like a madman. And with full flaps and all that, and it's not your fault because people are saying it's like this thing is a bit too clean when you're landing, that the flaps really do nothing. The ARA should be on, even though we have no traffic to worry about today. And then the other thing I was trying to figure out, so that's thing number one. Just a kind of a general thing. Oh, good call. So I was thinking about that when I was looking at this thing the other day. Look how badass this thing looks. You know, again, the whole reason I do this stream too is that I like airplanes. You know, I'm just a kid, and you know, so I can look past certain inequities by developers on these aircraft. But where's like yeah. Let me get a picture going here. All right, hopefully we don't get copyright stricken. I mean, come on. Oh. Tell me that's not just 1-to-1. And what's the coolest thing in, and you know where this is. You know where this takes place, don't you? What do you mean with the, you know what this is. That's a Klingon bird of prey. And that's Oakland Bay. If you don't know Star Trek, then you're too old. Yeah, see, look at that. Insulting the whole brand already. No, that's fine. I'm not a, I don't judge. I don't judge people who have no culture and don't watch Star Wars or Star Trek. Again, another reason why I love flight simulation. You know, this is, that's that great Jerry Seinfeld joke, right? Why do everyone like Star Trek? Because you're just like flying through space on your couch. That's what the bridge is. And so, you know, right now I'm in like a very comfortable chair. I'm reclined. Oh, I have coffee. And I have King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard for us to listen to. So with that said, since we're enjoying this flight at Albuquerque, I'll address your inconsistencies because, well, actually, I can well actually you on a few of these things you said here. But enjoy some no, that's the intro. Enjoy some high octane King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard to start our flight here live in Albuquerque. I'll keep it low in the background. You're gonna hear some musicians talking. Who knows what they're gonna be saying? So yeah, I don't feel totally compelled to correct you like the nerds out there. The other nerds out there. I am one. All right, let's do a couple things of planning before we get too deep. Let's go to plan mode. Go to our legs page. All right, let's step. Let's zoom in. The top of descent is about 10 miles from Queen. Speaking of music, look, we got Queen, Styx, Tom Petty, Waypoints. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the this is a great song. It's called Self-Immolate. This is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard heavy metal. So give me an 80. Give me a 40. And now we can sit back and relax. Because we'll just wait for a line to tell us when we have to think about flying again. We actually have a cruise today. We're rocking today. I'm in a good mood from all our good landings. And because my coffee is finally sinking in. So I guess we can just stay on this normal climb. So, progress here. It really... I'm not sure why it is thinking anymore. Like, I feel like the econ speed should be locked in. Oh well. Alright, approaching our cruise altitude. Alt alert. That's this. Top of climb right at Golf Uniform Papa. The VOR station here. Probably see it down there. What little town is this? Is this where I can gallop? The Gallup, New Mexico. I should see if what's on my list of cheap canyon land for me to buy for my retirement. A little more north. But yeah, where could I build my little cabin in the desert? Well, it wouldn't be a cabin. It's going to be like an adobo and concrete, like a brutalist structure. These aren't the most elegant, sophisticated lyrics per se, but I do like the song. Alright. So, top of climb. Do I care about any checklists? Nope. So the main issue with my dream of living in the desert is, in this day and age, I think water should be high on the priority list, and could be an issue. It is. It really is. Well, that's what they used to do. I'm a historian, Santa. In real life. No, not really. But beer is like the greatest human invention because water is not enough. Yeah, I've read a couple of them. I read a couple. Some of them are alright. I've read a couple. I'm helping a guy write one right now. That's why I had to take this week off, so I could get my head back. I could be myself and not wear the mask of another man. Think his thoughts for him. Oh, that's not really. Although kind of. I'm commissioned to work with an author to help him finish his book. And we're at a very critical stage, and we need another one chapter to tie it all together. And we're having trouble with it, so I tried to help write a little bit of it. You don't need any help from me writing LinkedIn posts, because they're all the same and are ridiculous. I hate LinkedIn. I think it's like the most... It's everything I hate about like the job culture in which we live. Oh, is it? Well, you don't need me anymore, so like I'm getting phased out, people like me. Because you can just go talk to Gemini now and be like, can you write my book better? And she'll be like, okay. Like RAAS Lady. That's why we don't need a co-pilot anymore. Now, I'm gonna get real serious here. Are you making a Nathaniel joke? Say yes or no. I need to know right now. You're about to get banned. I need a yes or no. Is that a Nathaniel joke? You're gonna want to answer because I'm giving you ammunition. Oh, okay. Alright, then never mind. Never mind. Let's listen to some King Gizz and Lizard Wizard. Daniel. I have a long-running joke with one of my really good friends who calls me Nathaniel. Daniel. Yeah, well, hey, you better get cozy with the AI, because, well, look, you know, I'm not the biggest AI hater, even though it's not taking my job yet, because right now people are using it more. Like, more people think they can write a book now, and they at least need some human to be like, or, not bad. Yeah, well, I do worry for the IT people, but then I do see, like, the code that it writes, and I'm not, like, an expert coder, but, you know, I like it to let it help me write little pieces of code for myself. But, and I'd like to use it to make, like, a cool Zelda video game one day or something, before I die. Those are my goals in life. Live in the desert, watch baseball, make a little video game. Yeah, you have to tell... Yeah, you can't just say, write me the code. You know, you have to be very specific. You have to command the AI. You can't give it any leeway. Okay, nice. Well, if you can do that, then I'm a day one. I'm on day one, right? Since you're telling me the idea. So you remember me. You remember Nate Flies. Nate doesn't need much to get by. He needs an adobo brutalist structure in the desert to live in. Or at least for vacation. Because my wife, she likes living a real life. I'm ready to live in the desert. I just need a computer. Okay, 1 trillion? Okay, so I just need, cut me off. So how old am I? I just want can you send me just like, I just want maybe 20 grand a year. That's it. I can handle the rest from there. But if you give me that $20 max, I'm not even asking for like, I'm asking for marginal fractions that you won't even see. Office space you. How about that? The AI can write the code. All right. Well, as long as you give me a sponsorship for flight gear, I can get the force feedback. Which is fun. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. As long as I get some of the benefits from hearing it this early. That's all this is about. I'm trying to find the gravy train. No. So I should keep telling you the rest of the story about in the Netherlands going to the FlightSim Expo. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I have a real blast going to that in the Netherlands. So a Nazi joke and a Nathaniel joke, but at least it's a Seinfeld joke, soup Nazi joke. Oh god, that might get banned for saying the wrong words on Twitch. But yeah. It's a good time. I got to meet like some of the guys from the my flight sim Discord, and then trying out all the gear is fun, but it's so hard to get in with a big simulator. I felt bad. My wife really wanted to. I was like, my wife is very beautiful, of course. I mean, and I'm not just a husband who's saying his wife is beautiful. She is. In objective reality, she's way too good looking for me. I'm a lucky man. So I was like, okay, good. I get to take my wife with me to the flight sim convention because now we can cut in line because she'll be like, the token hot chick at the flight sim convention. And I told her this. I'm not talking out of school here. Only. I only do what she tells me. And so I thought maybe like, okay, we could get into one of the big full simulators. I told her, bat your eyes a little bit, I'll chat up the guy and be like, oh, my wife, you should let her fly. But all the slots were booked. So no soup for me or her. I wanted to, but the Moza guy, I was able to go to the Moza booth, and we at least got to get her in with the full Moza setup. And so I was like, hey, isn't that cool? Babe, isn't that awesome? I'm like, man, it'd be so cool if we had that, wouldn't it? And I don't think she was as impressed. And they were doing a good job of hiding the price tags for things. Especially the price tags for the things that I know. That I own, I'm sorry. So like when she sees the Winwing panels, they didn't have the prices were small on the corner. Otherwise she would have seen them and be like, wait a minute, don't you have that? Don't you have that? Be like, no, I have the Kickstarter early campaign. I'll tell her from my OnlyFans channel. Nate flies after dark. That's how I can afford all this stuff. Your wife told me she wanted to be an A10. Wow. What a studly lady. Well, it's in my wife's blood because all her other siblings, they fly in real life. They're badasses. Well, I mean, she does and she doesn't care. Well, good. That's just it. I think, even though I have a potty mouth, this is a very family-friendly stream. Because it is all about self-improvement through flight simulation, which I'm glad we landed on the I'm not a hater. I just like, look. So as you realize, I'm an editor in real life, so I have to be like a cop for my job. When people do things that they shouldn't do, I have to be like, hey, look, you shouldn't do this. That's the part of my job, is mainly to tell you what not to say. I'd let you say whatever you do want, but my job is kind of like, maybe you shouldn't say that. Or maybe you should say this a little differently. And so, when I see you violating the rules, and for good reason, you do blow up and die a lot in DCS, and not just from the MiGs that are shooting you down. Exactly, I'm a professional hater. I hate you. I hate you. God gave everyone so much and gave me so little. That's one of my favorite Chappelle Show skits. I blew up in this thing. I've crash landed this hard enough to blow up. Very nice. Flying over Flagstaff. I mean, some things will fight back in X-Plane, but you're right. It's not it doesn't simulate crashing well, but it does simulate Santa. You are Santa after all. Not per se. You can collide with certain objects. That's the develop on the developers. But you can get so much anti-ice or ice buildup on your plane, that you crash and that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. Yes, the sims are unforgiving when it comes to forgetting to do something before you fire up the sim. The sims are a cruel mistress. It made me download like 30 gigs of stuff the other day when I was so jacked up to go to play. And yes, I use that. This is where you and me can agree, at least, Santa. I do like to have fun when I'm doing this. And so I do consider this play. But I can hold two things to be true at the same time. That A, this is fun and games. But B, these flight simulators have come a hell of a long way, man. Exactly. But they have come a long way, and I think they're absolutely fantastic right now. And, I'm not like one of the people that says, oh, I like to joke with real life pilots, at the airport when I see them that I'm a flight sim guy. No, I actually, I try not to do that because that's just too cliche even for me. Even though I'm a charming man, I don't want to bother someone at work with that kind of stuff. Although the pilots usually like, but that's the other thing. How do you know someone's a pilot? He'll tell you, is the joke. So they do like to talk about their craft, which is perhaps what makes the flight simulator streaming community a interesting one. And a good one for the ones who like to, who are not too egomaniac about it. But that's fine too. But I mean, these are, I don't think we're doing the real thing, but we are simulating. And I am a big believer in the power of simulation and imagination. So that's another thing that this stream is about. It's about self-improvement through flight simulation. It's also about just like the power of simulation and imagination and of talking to random people on the internet named Santa. And appreciating Earth in all of its glory. The real video game combo that I want is well, I guess I just need to play more Arma. I was gonna say the real simulator I want is Microsoft Flight Simulator, or X-Plane plus DayZ. So like I have to, get my food and loot around airports for the parts for my aircraft. Duck some zombies, team up with some randos on the internet. Let them shoot me in the back a couple times. Try and escape. Like, come on, man, I thought we were friends. We were talking. No. They were just waiting for their buddy to meet them in Discord. And now that he came, shoot you in the back. Cartel VR flying game. Exactly. So, at the very least, we have to use the power of imagination. Flying over Flagstaff. Although that is one day I did do something fun. Santa, you might appreciate this. With some of my buddies on Discord. Was, you do just like, especially during the pandemic. I told you this is a big pandemic hobby for me. That stuck. So what didn't stick through the pandemic was like my whole view of life. I threw that out the window. But flight sim stuck with me. So I quit my dream job and all that good stuff. I still have a pretty good job, don't get me wrong. But I had a good time to rethink things. But hanging out on like Discord with your buddies in the chat, you get the video chat going, and it's like, hey, get the virtual thing going, and it's like screen share yourself flying. Play some Dungeons and Dragons. Some like flight sim Dungeons and Dragons roleplay. There's so many opportunities if you just let your imagination go. Here's some of my favorite King Gizzard album from Polygon Wonderland. Ooh, you got a little... We're throat singing. Stu. We're coming up to lines. That's Nate's cue to concentrate. Yeah, so that's Inner Cell off Polygon Wonderland. And they're playing their little... The Horology suite. They play Inner Cell, Loyalty, Horology. It's a great little run of songs. And this is one of many live renditions. All right. Let's think about flying. We're not going back to Albuquerque. So what's our weather situation today? Oh, it's a beautiful day in Vegas. Excellent. So here's our arrival. And we're doing this weird VOR. Well, now that we're coming to top of descent, let's see what our first... So by sticks, we want to be at least below 240, petty 250, 16,000 before Rockstar. Or we got our restrictions? Probably not. See? Never has the restrictions. So that's another thing. Not a me problem. So it sticks. We need to be below flight level 240. Will it pick this up or just going to do 2,000? Where did I just say? Sticks below 240. Ooh, that's wrong. 240 feet. All right, slash FL 240 below. There we go. And then we want to be above 14 at petty. Well, it's actually okay for us to be a little... It's okay for us to be high today. This is a celebration stream. Graduation stream for our beautiful landings this week. Alright, top of descent coming up. Let's do that 16,000. Alright, 16,000 is set. Do a recall check. Check our pressure. Everything's looking good up here. Alright, put your cigarettes out. Breath of oxygen. Let's do a descent checklist. Look at this. No, we're too early for the checklist. Landing data. And we'll just be doing a auto brake 1 landing today. And we'll do our more in-depth briefing in a moment. But that's good enough for our checklist here. Alright, pressurization, recall check, auto brake is set, landing data is plugged in, and approach briefing is about to be completed. So the idea today is we are coming all the way to Preno, and then from Preno, let's see how the map has it drawn in actually. I want to do this this VOR. No, well, here's the ILS. Just let's plug that in just so we have something to help us keep a glide slope if we need like a point of reference. 111.5. All right, 111.50 check. 111.50 check. 259. See, this is a test. All right, 259er. So this is just so we can pick it up. We'll see. I'm sure this thing is gonna pick up the. Let me go. VOR 116.9er, and for the VOR, so from this radial out, 082. Oh, what am I doing? All right, wait, see. So we're doing this VOR. So let's see how it actually draws it in on the map here. Let's go to plan mode. Let's zoom in a little. Flags, steps. So Starry, Petty, Rockstar, Huxley, Halen. And did I just keep a discontinuity here for Prino? Yeah, alright, cool. That's what we want, actually. Because we're just going to be freewheeling it once we get to Prino. So that's all good. And then we'll come around to fly the Vegas VOR. But with that said, we should keep some heights in mind because there's like mountains everywhere around Vegas. So just keep in mind, Prino is when we just start freewheeling it. Santa, that's your co-pilot job today. Remind me, Prino, freewheeling. Heading select, alt hold. Let's open up Navigraph and get some rough idea of the safe altitudes. So the overall MSA 11.7. We're not going out there. It's 10,000 feet, 9.7. All right, so that's the. I do want that VOR. Maybe go bolder on the other one. 6.7. Sleep hungry traveler. What you see? 116.7. And mainly care about this 270 radial out from it. Thank you. Man, lines aplenty here. Telemarketer calling me.
Pretty tight, we made that.
All right, way to go, Gizz.
Very dope.
Crushed it. Let's listen to some hippie jam band shit. Some John Denver hippie jam band shit. Oh, nice. You got a livery for yourself? That's actually something I want to do. Now, you probably found a good... I mean, you're, you know, you can find stuff like that. I'll have to look that up. Nice. I need to make, like, you know, one with, like, full Tampa Bay Rays. But one of the other... So I like to do these, like, King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard chill streams when I'm flying a VOR aircraft. A VOR aircraft. A GA aircraft, excuse me. And, you know, we just fly around and listen to King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard like this, but lower and enjoy the sights, and that's much less serious. No professionalism involved there. Nate might even be cracking a few brewskis while he's doing those. But I've got a, you know, I like a plane for each mood You know, the many moods of Nate, like George Costanza. And, what is this? Oh, you hater. Although, I actually, no, you joke, but I love minor league baseball. And my first place Rays are built out of their excellent farm system. Look up, Santa, you want to see something cool? Look up Montgomery, Alabama kimchi. That's the alternate uniforms for the Rays AA affiliate in Montgomery, Alabama. Minor League Baseball has it figured out, by the way. They have a lot of fun with their uniforms. The fan experience at minor league ball games is so fantastic. Oh, look at these canyons. I love this. Once we get once I'm like a million views, I'll tell a funny story about me standing on the edge of a canyon and thinking about my whole life. It's not what you think, but it's very personal. This song is appropriate. Ooh. Okay, so another glitchy thing people were saying about this aircraft is that I noticed too that with and they said it has to do with the screens here, that pretty much everyone experiences some stutters when they're coming into their landing, and people claim that has a lot to do with using the upgraded GP, whatever these are called, panels, instead of the old equipment. That's something is happening here. Oh, I need to do one thing. This the 2720. Yeah, it's loading in, but also the people were complaining about something. I mean, people complain about everything, so. But I did notice too on flights of a certain 27. Yeah, I'll punch in standard in a second. 270. Really, doing local QNH is much more important than this. All right, good enough. Local is 29905. Okay, RAAS Lady, thank you for the reminder. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. All right, 29905. We are gonna just barely make it. Let's keep our descent going. So Prino 8,000. So I'm pretty sure if we stay around 8,000, we're pretty safe. So let's go down to 8,000 for our pass of Vegas. All right, idle VNAV speed. Drag required. It's slowing down fine. I'm not worried about putting speed brakes out right now. Yeah, I'll show you the WinWing stuff that I've got. Is the EFIS panel thing. If you go on the wind control panels, it's I should concentrate. We can look at toys after, because we're going to land soon. Also, the Rays play, and oh, they're in 5 minutes. Oh man. I gotta make the baseball game. I'd like to get a tiller. Yeah, but this would be very helpful too. But the website works better. But yeah, the you know, I got this guy and the well, that's the Airbus one, but this one is I find helpful to have. Okay, let's concentrate slightly. I'll give it a little bit of speed brakes. Again, not too worried about this because we're going to be doing a little party flying. But in some ways, I bought that the EFIS panel specifically because, well, like I said, in the 737, which is this is my last flight in the 757 for a little while, because I want to compare it to the, I want to jump in the Zebo next week if I have time.
Let's get funky on this next one, huh? See you shake them hips till you break them hips.
Turn some lights on. All right, coming into Las Vegas. Let's zoom in, let it load itself in a little bit. But it is nice to not have to. I find in the sim some knobs are fine, but others are really annoying to use. And I know in this aircraft it's this panel here is kind of really tough to use, I find. But I have I made a WinWing profile. You can download it off xplane.to, along with the WinWing Pro or the Moby Flight profile for the PAP-3 that does this aircraft, and that's what I'm using right now, and it's nice. Drag required. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the speed window. Like I said, we're just chilling on this part. So actually, I'm just gonna go to our up speed. Get down to 8,000. Fly over Vegas a little bit, and then I'll go to the hold that we want, Irish. Actually, 291. So yeah, if we were, flying normally, Santa, here we'd be coming into the ILS. And when you're flying to Vegas, by now you'd already be on vectors from a controller. Airport's over here, but they're just vectoring you in to this waypoint, so you can. We're gonna do a a flyby of the airport. All right, I'm gonna go heading select, and actually just go to level change. Slow down. Get some sim sounds. Alright, so ultimately, when I do this approach, Vegas, what's a good... So I have that 262, right? Radial, or 082. Let's see. Outbound from the VOR. So... yeah, all good. So yeah, here's Preno. So if we turn runway course, we'll do a little airport flyby at 8,000. I know there's a discontinuity. Alright, speed, heading select, alt hold. Perfect. The FMC is going to bark at us a little bit because we have no flight plan technically right now. I mean, we do, but no next waypoint. I could put the Las Vegas VOR in, but I don't know. I don't have an intercept course that I feel like punching in per se. Alright, cool. We get to look at the orb. Alright, Vegas, load in. I'll help you out. Draw distance. We can see the Statue of Liberty. Somehow made her way over here. Alright, all looking good here. So we'll just want to make sure to stay within the mountains. We'll stay down in the Las Vegas basin here. Enjoy some views of the Strip. Now, incidentally, even though I'm flying to Vegas, I have to go on record that I'm really not a Las Vegas kind of guy. I think if I went to Vegas, I would, I'd just want to, like, hit the buffets. I am a poker master also, but you know, I don't want to run this city out of business. There's the orb. Too bad I don't think we get animated orb in X-Plane. I'd have to download the Vegas scenery. We get the you know, this. So as like a half joke, I've been telling my brother-in-law, who he's a helicopter pilot, that whenever he makes his way back to the good old United States of America, well, boots back on the ground here, if he comes back, which I think he is. Every night, so I like watching the Las Vegas live stream of the airport, but every night, like this convoy of like 8 helicopters takes off and does the loop of the Strip. I'm like, I'll take that job. This way too, we can let Vegas load in a bit. we do have to land soon because Nate, it's baseball time. Although the Rays have won 3 out of 4 already, I feel pretty good. Is Seymour pitching today? I would actually like to. We'll get there. I shouldn't leave my desk while I'm flying around, surrounded by mountains. Hello, KLAS. Harry Reid International. Look at that golf course. So there's some pretty nice RNAV approaches on runway 19, which is here. We're flying kind of downwind 19 right now. And this is where all the Area 51 Janet Airline 737-600s. This is where they come. Vegas is going to have baseball soon, too. Alright, we are going to thank King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard for their tunes for the drive. That was fun. Thank you, Gizz. We're going to enjoy the sights and sounds of flight simulation for the remaining little bits of stream. Man, Vegas is a massive footprint, isn't it? I'd rather go to Reno, I think. Lake Tahoe, Reno, do kind of a northern, go do some, go into Northern California. You know, RAAS Lady might actually talk to us as we fly over the airport. Sometimes she'll say you're on the taxiway. Okay, so here's that Las Vegas VOR. We're gonna kind of do a loop. We're gonna actually kind of follow this to get on path with the VOR, and then we're gonna do this little approach. So here we are now. This is the missed approach or something. What is this? Oh no, that's the missed approach coming out of here. We want to watch out coming this way. We're 8,000, 4,000, so we're fine. But we want to go to Irish. So I'm just giving us enough of a turn here to loop back around to the VOR, and then we're gonna head outbound to here. And what is it? Right turns for the hold? Oh, it's right turns. That's all right. So for the VOR, I mean, really, we can just, I guess, do this hold at Irish, and it's a big glide down, 3.5. So we're gonna want to be very nicely configured by then. So now I am in VOR mode here. So now this is kind of, it's fun doing like the VOR to VOR navigation. But, you know, we can align our heading with the pointer. Or I guess this one is the, that's VOR 2. Or I'll put the Las Vegas waypoint in there. So that at least now we have like a flight path. Cool. So yeah, we could just follow the lines. You know, here it comes. That's the Colorado Springs VOR. Yeah, as that comes in. Let's see. We're gonna overshoot it a little bit. Ah! I turned too late. Man, my PFD is a mess. Let me turn VOR 2 off on this side. Oh, whoops. That's ADF. Still pretty much a mess. Alright. Let's see. Actually, with the flight factor, I'm curious how well it does. If I go direct Irish right now. Direct Irish. Direct Irish. Execute. LNAV. Let's see how it does entering the hold. Coming from kind of an awkward direction, too. Because we want right turn, so I'm curious if it's going to do the proper teardrop entry or not. And want to be 7,100 above. I'll go ahead and do a level change. Yeah, I know. I'm changing my altitude. Level change. Idle. Speed. LNAV. Okay. I'm gonna do some grandma stuff today. I'm gonna fly pretty slow. Go flaps 1 for the hold. Mainly because I want to give it... I want to slow down just so it doesn't have to do too big of turns. Because I'm curious how it enters... I'm curious how it's going to enter this hold here with how it's set up right now. Because I think if you're entering this properly to do right turns, it should hit Irish and come left and do this like teardrop entry into Irish. Alright, speed, alt capture. So I just want to give it kind of enough of a buffer. We've got plenty of fuel. Quick little fuel balance. Alright. Turn on a bunch of lights. Everyone should definitely be buckled up now. Although you might want to smoke them if you got them. Let's go seatbelts on, but cigarettes can be out. For Nate flies the VOR landing. Could get ugly fast. With a pretty intense 3.5 degree down, so. So it's 9, so about 10 miles to races. So that we can lose. But let's get in this hold. And once we're safely in the hold, I need to check on one thing in real life. And then I will land, and then I will be cracking an early brewski or two, watching the Rays game, having dinner later, and being a family man this weekend. Alright, here we go. We're about to hold. Let's see what happens. This is very exciting in Flight Simulator world. Come on, Flight Factor, make us proud. Ooh. Okay, okay. What are you gonna do? You're thinking? if I tell you what to do? So, don't think we're doing right turns. I think it's taking us left. Let's see what happens here. Can we really trust it? How much trust do we have? Although maybe, let's see if it does maybe like a figure 8 type situation. That could be too. I'm not a hater. Whatever Santa says. I'm interested in the behavior. Because next week, even though I'll be returning to working hours of some kind. But I'd like to mess around in the Zebo mod. Just to kind of compare the feeling between this aircraft and the Zebo. Because I've always enjoyed the Zebo mod. Alright, so what are you going to do? This is interesting. This is interesting, watching a aircraft fly a circle by itself. Ooh, I think we're figure eighting. We're doing like a figure 8 pattern here. Oh, this is looking nice. Okay. Okay, I like where this is going. I think it's time to start straightening out a little bit. Ooh, it's doing it. Look at that. This is like master level holding. Way to go, airplane. Now, maybe I should tell it that I'm going slow. The speed target is 250. Although, does it care about this if we're not in VNAV? I'm gonna go 193. So that I don't know. 193 slash 7100 above. Oh, I don't want to break it right now. Shit. Let's let it enter the hold properly. Even though we've been in the hold, let's see if it actually does it. Oh, you bastard! I did not arm the exit. Alright, shit. Changing plans. We're going in. We are going in. Why did you dump me out of my hold, you bastard? Alright, 4,500 or so was something I think I saw. Let's, alright, 4,500, let's go vertical speed. We've got, what was that, races? So we got 6, 7, 8 miles. We need to lose 369, so not quite enough. Let's dive down a little more. Maybe some flaps. Flaps 5. If I help it out with this and speed brakes, maybe it'll be happier. I'm flying. Go heading select though. Let's orient ourselves here. 26 left. That's our runway. We're getting there. We're just going to be a little quick. So let's let the gear do some work for us. Let's go speed brake in, gear down. And this is the other thing, gear down. Where are you? All right, this is gonna be pretty aggressive. Let's go flaps 20. Are we visual? Three white, one red, a little high. That's fine. We'll watch our VOR here. We do have the help of the glide slope. Alright, I'm gonna fly now. Flight director's off. Bird on. Let's keep our bend. Come on, baby. Man, it's trying to just balloon itself up right now. All right, VREF is 133. So we're very fast. Flaps full. Speed brake is armed. Alright, so despite being quite high, we're doing alright. Despite being totally off, we're doing alright. Alright, we're coming in. I see two white, two red, I think. Slow down. I'm gonna nose up. That should help us bleed off some speed. Trim down. So we're gonna be a little fast, a little high. But that's how we like it in Vegas. It's good to be a little fast, a little high. Alright, we got this. Is our gear down? Landing checklist is complete, I'm pretty sure. Getting low, getting slow.
500.
We don't want to be low and slow. We want to be high and fast. Two white, two red. Come on, trim down. Go, baby. Go, slow down. Nose up. This is expert. We got this. This is all us.
100.
100.
50. 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Reverser's full. Okay, manual brakes. Let's get the reversers in. I'm not gonna make that high speed.
4,000 feet remaining.
Okay, thank you, RAAS Lady. We're in Vegas, RAAS Lady. So I think that was fairly masterful job. Was it stable? Unclear. Stable approach will tell us. If we see green, this is celebration time. Oh, okay. Yep, we know about the high sync rate, but man, we are just killing it this week, everybody. We are doing so good this week. We're Boeing 757 masters. All right. Speed brake come in, flaps come up. We're gonna cross the runway. I might have to get a
Approaching
beer
8
before
left.
we even park. All right, what do we got here? Bravo. Pretty sure we take Bravo. Thank you. Thank you, Santa. I'll take any other acclaim you want to give right now. So, lay it on thick. Is that the best landing you've ever seen? Not just a nice landing? Yeah. That was fun. I wish it didn't exit the hold that early, because man, I have to pee so bad. Sorry for being so crude. I mean, if you're being 100%, I mean, it's got to be the best you've ever seen on a. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back on YouTube, watch the VOD, study, give it a thumbs up. Or what did you have on, or Twitch, YouTube, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think we did good. I think we can be proud of ourselves. I think we can park this thing, take RAAS Lady out on a nice Vegas, nice night on the strip. Go to the Bellagio, hit the buffet, see how much prime rib we can actually eat. Like, how much prime rib can one man eat? While also, well, I guess that's why we can't have, we really shouldn't go to the buffet tonight if we're taking RAAS Lady on a nice date. Because we'll be useless after the buffet. Okay, we can turn. Oh, that one I can keep on. Turn some lights off. Oh, I thought for the first time I was gonna get my switches on first try. All right, air cargo, Romeo. Hell yeah. What a week. And we'll see how the Zebo feels next week. In between work, I'll have to do some real work next week. I'll have to do some real work, unfortunately, tomorrow, I think. It's Thursday. Well, luckily, I have pretty cool projects going on right now, so we're doing good. Okay, Charlie 1. Romeo up there. And now we're flying. I mean, we're going fast. I have no thrust. Should that still be there? Should I be getting ILS indications? I think so. Alright, Romeo. Well, I think Vegas, you go downhill this direction. You must not be allowed to enter this direction. There's no lines. I don't know. Sometimes this area gets all jacked up on map enhancement, but it looks okay today. Oh, there's a guy. Princess parking. We princess parking it today. We're about to blast him with terrain radar, though. I don't know. He's an NPC. It's okay. Oh, what a big hump. All right. Boom. Good job, everybody. Team effort today. Oh yeah, I was just blasting him with terrain radar. Yeah, isn't it? Even trippier. Now I'm not going to do it because I don't want to put the mask of shame on. But you can see your eyeballs in the mask of shame. Ah. Got some nice chill Gizz. Float along, fill your lungs. I guess that is fitting for oxygen at least. APU gen on. Good job. Alright, APU is on. Turn stuff off. Alright, so those are shut down. We can get rid of the hydraulics. Excelente. We'll watch a replay in a sec. We did well this week in our 7.5. Alright, is this sufficiently shut down for my purposes? I think so. I should just keep the AP on because when I come back it'll power down because it's going to make stuff disappear. Alright, replay. Yeah, we had to help ourselves. That's when I just heard the gear. And I noticed this the other day too. There's like a big delay, and I don't think it has to do with, am I above a certain speed? I don't think so. I think the gear can come down when you're pretty quick. I was definitely under 200, right? Oh, yeah, we don't know. Probably not doing another flight. I'm going to treat myself to some baseball. And well, here's what. I'll make this promise at least. Next week, I'll try the helo. Yeah. I'm already doing, I can't fly and do anything else at the same time, as you know. Except today it was like, today we pushed our limits of sitting on a couch and doing multiple things at once. But Santa, I want you to be, you should be pretty proud of me today, because that was very little. They just ripped off 3 straight, buddy. You know, you say things that don't line up with the facts of the world. You know, that's the problem with you kids these days. Turns out there is something like a reality out there that we have to like try and get on the same page about sometimes. And what that is that the Rays are the best team in the American League. That is just a reality. Scoreboard, etc. Although I don't know if they're the best team in the AL. They probably are. I haven't looked at what the other teams are doing in the AL. I just care that we're first. But yeah, look at our nice VOR approach. I was manual since like 5,000 feet. Really flaring the hell out of this thing. So you hear Gizz playing a little Tool. Dun, 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 dun. That was 46 and 2. Yeah, got some 46 and 2 going. Although Float Along, as I recall, just has that kind of riff in it too. But either way, it's awesome. Oh, God damn it. Alright, look, I had to take a little Euro step. It's just, the music, you know, it gets in me. Hold on, let's see, do we keep contact? We keep contact. That's no bounce. Come on, left gear. Oh, left gear came up too. Shit. See, okay, I meant to do that. Just to, like, I wanted to relieve just a little bit of pressure because we were coming in hot. So in my report, see, just want to say, like, okay, front gear, front wheels of the back. Did I tank the nose? Let's see. Alright, we gave that front suspension a little bit of work too. But they're calling this pretty successful. Okay, relieve a little pressure through the wheels, yep. Don't want to get them too hot. You want to get them rolling first is what you want to do, and then there you go. And then you want to make sure your front shock is working. Yeah. Yep. Bottom it out. All right. There you go. Yeah, look at that. All right, and then relieve a little pressure. Let it launch you up slightly. Yeah, no, I'm not watching. What's the score? Are they giving up runs? Is Seymour getting shelled? Oh, it's only one so far. We'll get that back. I'm not worried. All right, I'm proud of us. We've had a great week. We put some good landings on tape. So I feel good about... I'll leave the FedEx parked. I know. They just got that little jostle, that's all. But now I'm going to take RAAS Lady for a nice night. Steak dinner. 12-pack of beer. Gonna be a hell of a night.
We love you, 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 love you so much.
Like Stu says, I also... I don't know if I love you, but, you know, I appreciate...
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Santa, for watching. I appreciate anyone else watching. But... I think that's gonna be it for me today. We get some applause from the Albuquerque fans. A little bit. But yeah, I'm going to go watch some baseball. Treat myself to a little brewski. Yeah, you have a good day too, man. And if the beers don't put me down, if you stream later, I'll try and pop in and say hi. Oh yeah? Alright, cool. Like I said, if I'm awake, if I get the notification. I think I should, because I have the Discord set up too. But yeah, I'll pop in and at least say hi. Watch for a little bit. But tomorrow I have to rise and grind as a, you know, I have to join society now again and turn over my brain to other people so that I can generate cash so I can pay my mortgage. Just you know, not a fan of alienated labor. Just it sullies the whole operation. But no, I got some cool work ahead at least. So in any case, that was really fun. I'm glad we got that in, and I will see you around the bend. I'll sometime next week. I don't know when. And yeah, Santa, you know I appreciate you. I like the shit talk. keeps me young.
Sometimes I just feel like just a scumbag.
All right, go Rays. Everybody have a good weekend. I'll fly a 737 next week.
Scumbag, man. I do like eating the scraps.
I'll eat some chicken tonight.
I do like chicken.
The A's are going to be the Vegas team.
It's all about them chickens in the sky.
Wrong letters. J is the worst letter in the alphabet, too. Most useless. All right, thank you again. Santa, have a great day, man. Have a great weekend. I'll see you later. Everyone else, see you next week.
Bread crusts are my banquet, puddles are my wine. A revel in the present, each moment a lifetime.